So in this lecture, we're going to talk about defining a service. Opening ports for your zones is easy, but it can be difficult to keep track of what each one is for. If you ever, say, put a system out of service, you may have a hard time remembering which ports that have been opened are still required. So to avoid this situation, it is possible to define a service instead of a port. Services are simply collections of ports with an associated name and description. Using services is easier to administer than ports, but requires a bit of work. The easiest way to start is to copy an existing script, and the script is located in user library firewall D services directory and services, and this is where all the scripts are located. For instance, we could copy the SSH service definition to use for our example service definition, and the file name minus the .xml suffix will dictate the name of the service within the firewall service list. So let's copy user. Let me actually clear it so we can be on the top of the screen. So copy user lib firewall D services ssh.xml to etc firewall D services example.xml. And now we can adjust definition found in the file that we just copied. So vim etc firewall D services example.xml. So to start, the file will contain the SSH definition that we just copied. The majority of this definition is actual metadata. You'll want to change the short name for the service within the short tags. This is a human readable name for your service. You should also add a description so that you have more information. If you ever need to audit the service, the only configuration you need to make that actually affects the functionality of the service will likely be the port definition, where you identify the port number and protocol you wish to open, and this can be specified multiple times. For our example service, imagine that we need to open a port 7777 for TCP and 8888 for UDP. By entering insert mode by pressing I, we can modify the existing definition, and here's how we do it. So I'm in the file right now, and where it says short, I'm gonna delete this and then insert example service. Okay, escape. Then I'm going to come down to description and delete everything that's in between. It's a lot of stuff, and I'm going to type in my own description here. Okay. Press I to insert and then type in, this is just an example service. It probably shouldn't be used on a real system. And this period, And on the next two lines we have the ports. So TCP, we're gonna change that to insert 7777. Then I'm gonna do a YYP and then change this one to 8888 and then save it and exit. And now we're going to reload our firewall. So the command for that is firewall cmd -- reload. Was successful. You can see that it is now among the list of available services. So if I do a firewall -cmd -get -services, and we can see this in among our services. And if you look in this output here, this is our example service. It's showing right here.